Talking of side hustles, good segue that huge actually. Joe Root, T20 for him, we would class as a side hustle, wouldn't we? The ECB have in effect released him now to this. Is it ITL, this international T20 league played in the UAE? I think in reality the ECB, as his employers, have to release him. But I think because he's been playing so much 50 over cricket and Test cricket, and obviously he's captain of England. The ECB have said, look, go and earn some money. Don't worry about going to Bangladesh for one days or New Zealand, or go and have some fun, mate. We're still in our plans for probably for the World Cup. The 50 over World Cup that's coming on, obviously, you Test cricket, but do you know what? And go and enjoy yourself for a little bit, which I really like. What do you think?
Two ways of looking at it, isn't there? Either they're saying exactly that, or is this the first step away from Joe Root in one-day cricket? Like, you look at some of the young lads that have come into you look at the likes of Harry Brook and the lad that got 6 for the off-spinner. Like, these young lads, you look at, Jacks, you've got Phil Soul, you've got Alex Hales, potentially, you've got David Milan, that's scoring runs in short format cricket. You've got I read today, some 4 or 5 English lads have gone out to the Big Bash as cover for the guys that are going to South Africa, all this based in Dubai and Doha, isn't it? So, but two ways looking at it, isn't it? Either the ECB are kind and saying they're going to earn the money, or they're going right. Because this is at the same time that they've recalled Harry Brook from the South African league. So he's not paid any more or less cricket than Joe Root. So I suppose he's played T20 World Cup, but
yeah, they're managing his workload, aren't they? That's why they said that they pulled him. Who was he playing for, Eugene? Was it the Joburg franchise?
Yeah, the Joburg franchise, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Harry Brook.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know who's going to be playing in the England one-day squad, because I see Moeen Ali, Tom Curran, a whole bunch of the lads are playing in this International League T20 that's in Abu Dhabi. You've then got the likes of Joss and a number of the other England players playing in the SA20. So is there going to be like
that are going over? Is it the Lions that are going over to Bangladesh? Because I know Saqib Mahmood's going.
What do you mean Bangladesh? They're touring South Africa. So England are touring South Africa on the 27th of January. A one-day series.
They've got 3 one-days, haven't they? So that's why, obviously, I should have been on a plane to South Africa as we speak. But then when they shifted it from Cape Town, because the SA20, they've now got 2 one-days in Bloemfontein and then another in Kimberley. But they've obviously shifted that because of this SA20 that's being played at all the kind of showcase grounds, if you like, which is interesting, really interesting. Actually.
Yeah, 2 in Bloemfontein and 1 in Kimberley. But like I said, I mean, that South African squad, I mean, I know that we call them cricketers at the moment because their top 6 in the test side anyway is more flaky than a Mars bar flaky in Jono's fridge. Then I'm surprised. I'm just surprised to see so many of the players not playing.
Yeah, I thought Moeen Ali was going to the SA20 rather than the ITL thing. We may be wrong.
I saw him I've just looked at the squads. I see him playing in the ITL. Yeah.
Right. Okay. SA20. What do we think of that, Huge? So obviously this is a franchise-based system, which is, I think, mirrors basically some of the same sides from the IPL, isn't it? So same owners, similar type thing, a draft system, etc. Are you excited about it, or are you? What are you?
Massively excited. Yeah, massively excited about it. I mean, there's 6 sides: Durban Super Giants, Joburg Super Kings, Mumbai Indian, Cape Town, Paarl Rocks, Pretoria Capitals, and the Sunrisers Eastern Cape squad. I mean, I must say, it's interesting watching it. I don't know if any of you follow them on any of the Instagram or YouTube channels. I've watched quite a bit of it over the past couple of days. The media hype around it is phenomenal. And I guess it would be, right? I mean, there's a lot of money involved. A lot of people are getting paid a lot of money, which is why a lot of the players want to play in it. So yeah, I'm very excited for it. More importantly, we get to watch more. Good example is we can watch the BBL in the morning. We can then either watch India or the Pakistan games, which is, in between, and then you can watch the SA20. I think there's 2 games tomorrow. There's one at 3:00 and then another one at 5:30. But most of the games are around 3:00 if you are interested in watching them. And as Robbo kindly mentioned earlier, it's all on Sky Sports because they've signed a 5-year deal.
Talking of the Big Bash, Huge, I'll come to you on this, Simon. We're seeing a lot of the kind of marquee names, if you like, who've been playing in the Big Bash now leaving the Big Bash to go and play in this SA20. Is that to do with their contracts, do you think, with their sides that they represent in the IPL? Do you think that those teams I don't understand it. I don't think it's in their contract that they have to, but do you think they have been kind of strong-armed into going to playing this with it being its inaugural year?
I think it was a bit of a financial thing for most of the cricket lads. Like, they're going to sit and go where the money is, aren't they? You'd have thought. I don't think they'd be allowed, although you think about the way that the draft system normally works and all that kind of stuff, you wouldn't, although they're similar names. I like the fact that Mumbai Indians have not just called it Cape Town Indians or whatever it is. They've gone full Mumbai Indians Cape Town. That's really making sure they know it is at least the Super Kings or whatever else has kept them separate. But
the Chennai Joburg Super Kings.
Yeah. Yeah. Virat Kohli will captain then, no doubt. But I don't know. You never know what's going on with it, to be honest. They may have been put under a little bit of pressure if they've been signed by the same franchises or similar management, similar owners. They may have been, but I thought these took the case of following money, most of them anyway. At the end of the day, we all know the Big Bash hasn't had the same kind of budget as the IPL or quite clearly this South African T20 League, certainly for this year. So it'll be interesting. I think you said earlier, Marcus Stoinis has actually left the Big Bash to go and play in one of them. So you'd have thought from that.
Yeah.
How do we think then the Big Bash is going to fare off the back of this? Because one of the criticisms of the 100 was that towards the back end, the quality of competition dropped off a cliff because obviously all the marquee names left to go and play in the CPL. Is the Big Bash in danger of feeling the same fate?
I think it is, because if you look at the way that it's been restructured going forward, it's going to be much shorter. And look, it was getting long in the tooth, right? Because, I mean, it starts, middle of December and it goes all the way through till it feels like middle of February. That's not factually correct. It might be sooner than that. But I think because of the number of players that have recently left all the squads, not saying that's a bad thing, by the way, because as much as a number of players have left the squads, all of the Aussie internationals are now back too. So I heard like 2 people leaving one squad and they've got 2 more Australian internationals to replace them. So from that perspective, it actually works out quite well. But yeah, looking at the way that they're talking about it, it is going to be restructured. It might not be next year. It might be the year after, depending on as and when the TV rights deals get signed. I don't know when that happens. The funny thing is it all comes down to TV right deals. So yeah, we'll see that. We'll watch the space in the next couple of years to see if the Big Bash gets shorter because of these completing competitions in the SA20 and the International League.
I think they've just, the ACB have just signed a new TV deal, haven't they? So whether it's either with Channel 7 or Channel 10, I don't know. I can remember it's not Channel 9 because I know they used to do it when it was the Wide World of Sports and the old 222 club I used to kick off and all that, yeah. Billy Birmingham stuff. But yeah, so I know, I'm pretty certain, I read the other day that the ACB have just signed a new deal with, whether that's just for one form of cricket or the other, I don't know, but I did see something on that. So you'd have thought that might be included in the readdressing of anything.
Yeah, good point.